boys and girls basketball fans of all ages. Welcome onto the campus of Abington High School for today's girls varsity basketball matchup between the Mashpee Falcons and your Abington Green Wave. Once again, I'm Mad Dog Matt Nelson, joined once again by Joe Beaver. Joe, season kickoff here at Abington for the Green Wave girls varsity and the season kickoff for the Mashpee Falcons. What do both teams have to do to start their seasons off on the right foot?
You know, I think they have to be aggressive right off the rip. They can't be slowing down, you know. They got to keep the pace up. I know it's going to be difficult because it's their first time playing with the mask on, which is something obviously no teams are used to. But hopefully they can get used to it quickly and adapt as the game goes on.
Green Wave did visit Carver High School last Friday night. This is their second game of the season. First here at their home court. They're wearing their home white jerseys, green trim around the white numbers and lettering, the Mashpee Falcons, and they're visiting all blue jerseys with white numbers and lettering. We are underway. Number 2 with it for Mashpee, that's Amaya Peters, the, believe it or not, the co-captain is only a sophomore. The travel called on the Falcons, the Green Wave takeover. Olivia McGuire, Sydney Brundage, Hannah Terrell. Isabella O'Connell, the starting goaltender for the Green Wave soccer team. The starters for Dan Norton's Abington Green Wave.
I'm already seeing a lot of aggressive defense by the Falcons here. A lot of tip balls and good shot contest.
Three-pointer is wide left. A foul is going to be called on Olivia McGuire. A push called on McGuire. No points scored to this point, 45 seconds into quarter number 1. Joe, as we alluded to in our conversation before the game, the JV matchup here between these two teams earlier was decidedly one-sided.
Yeah,
the
definitely.
Score was 35-2 in favor of the Green Wave at halftime. And the Mashpee Junior Varsity girls team scored their third and fourth points right at the start of the fourth quarter. Not ideal, Joe, for the future of the Mashpee Falcons.
Yeah, it's a tough loss for them.
We've got an injury. There might have been an elbow.
Yeah, definitely some contact on that layup.
It is Sydney Brundage who is looking winded. She might have caught the elbow to the stomach, ripping for a rebound. Good news, walking under her own power, and the Green Wave strike first. I believe that was Isabella O'Connell underneath the basket. Too strong on the layup attempt was number 5 for Mashpee, Maggie Connolly. Uncontested rebound for the Green Wave. A three-pointer is good for number 30, Gracie O'Connell. Mary Klein is going to come into the game, replacing Hannah Terrell. A lot of contact. I'm kind of surprised we didn't see a call on that.
Yeah, I was surprised there too. I like the aggressiveness.
Laying it up and in is Amaya Peters. Mashpee is on the board. 5-2 in favor of the Green Wave. 2.5 minutes into the first quarter. Meanwhile, Paris Wittes Hendricks Came up with a steal and laid it immediately up and in to make it back a 1-point game. Elizabeth Roy is also going to be coming into the game. Hannah Terrell and Gracie O'Connell take a breather. Elizabeth Roy to inbound. It's it into Mary Klein. Perimeter ball movement for the Green Wave. Long jumper, no good. A lot of contact. And it turns into a turnover. Mashpee intercepting the pass and laying it up and in is Haley Garcia, the freshman.
That was a really good move by her.
Elizabeth Roy. Roy in the corner, 3, too strong. Loose ball in the paint, jump ball called, and Mashpee will take over. Someone lost a wristband or something. Led to a momentary stoppage. Now the sub coming back in is Sydney Brundage, replacing Sarah Flanagan, the sophomore. Quick 3 is good for Maggie Connolly. Mashpee with a 9-5 lead. Looking hard across, trying to force it to Elizabeth Roy.
I like what I'm seeing for ball movement from the Green Wave here.
Olivia McGuire has been the one to watch for the Green Wave so far. Brundage to Isabella O'Connell. Now laying it up, no good. Trying to grab her own rebound was Mary Klein, just not successful in that effort. .340 to go in the first quarter, 9-5. Abington with the ball. Mashpee takes over. A foul is going to be called, a travel is going to be called on the back end by Mashpee. So Abington will take over all the way on the just inside half court for the Green Wave. That was kind of a crazy sequence, a late travel call.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, most of the players were already moving down to the next play, and call that call really, really late.
2 for McGuire, no good. A lot of scrapping for the rebound, and a jump ball. Abington will retain possession.
It's been a very physical game from both sides so far.
Sarah Flanagan back in. She replaces Olivia McGuire. Athletic play along the baseline, forced out by Amaya Peters. Abington will inbound. 21 seconds on the shot clock, 3:08 in the quarter. Two partially blocked. Hannah Terrell's going to come back into the game for the Green Wave, who have not had anything going offensively to this point. Elizabeth Roy called for the block. Terrell replaces Mary Klein. That angle layup is good. Back to a one-possession game. Another crazy sequence, Joe, as we alluded to Friday night against Carver. The lack of fans really lets us hear what's going on in the gym between the officials, players, and coaches.
Definitely.
And another crazy sequence. The ref thought he heard timeout from the Abington Green Wave coach, Dan Norton, who was calling a play that started with the word 5 and threw the mask from across the court. It sounded like the words timeout, so he blew a whistle, called a timeout, but one wasn't called. Another turnover for the Green Wave offense.
That's a great defensive play by number 20. I believe that's Haley Garcia.
Very young team, Joe, for Mashpee. Only 2 seniors on this roster.
Yeah, it's weird to see.
2 juniors.
I feel like most of the time it's very senior and junior dominated for most teams.
Well, 4 sophomores and 1 freshman on the Falcons roster. Green Wave, a fairly young team themselves. Elizabeth Roy, Isabella O'Connell, and Gracie O'Connell, the only seniors. There are 5 juniors, 4 sophomores. Green Wave regained the lead, 10-9 the score, $136 left in the first quarter. A 3, no good. Offensive board for number 11, Cheyenne Hendricks. That's Haley Garcia that lost it, and she's called for the carry. The rare carry call, Joe, something that should be called a lot more often in the National Basketball Association.
Yeah, definitely.
3 is good.
Green Wave's really starting to heat up here.
Gracie O'Connell with that 3 for the Green Wave. And a travel called on Mashpee's number 11, Cheyenne Hendricks. Speaking of rules that should be enforced in the NBA. Joe, you being an NBA guy, a basketball fan, will probably agree with this point that carries and travel have not been called in the NBA since the 2003 draft.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. I don't know if about 2003, but definitely.
Well, 2003 was a little bit before your time.
Yeah, so that's why I wouldn't know. But
the 2003 draft is widely regarded as the greatest draft in NBA history. That was Dwayne Wade. I believe LeBron was taken in that draft. Chris Bosh. Just stacked from top to bottom. Nowitzki might have been taken in that draft. Long 2 on the line was Gracie O'Connell. Shot clock off, 15 seconds to go in the quarter. A 3. Nothing but net for number 4. That is Paris Wittes Hendricks. Brundage has her pass blocked. Nobody knows where the ball is. A foul called. It's going to be called on Brundage for the contact that resulted in Amaya Peters on the floor. Less than a second in quarter number 1, 13-12 Abington on top. 0.6 showing on the board. Oh, the long 3 would have been good if only she fired it off.
That's like 35 feet.
That was a very big distance, just inside half court. Well, the buzzer sounds. The first quarter has come to an end. Slow going here for both teams. 13-12, your score. Joe, what did you see that you like? What did you see that both teams might need to work on?
Well, this is something that you can't really blame them for, but I can tell they're a lot more tired. You know, first game of the season, they got the mask on. But I'm seeing a lot of great plays defensively, especially by the Falcons. A lot of turnovers, like forced turnovers, and they're in the passing lanes. I'm also seeing a lot of good shooting from Green Wave. So, yeah.
Gracie O'Connell seemingly started to heat up, Joe, at the end of that first quarter. hitting a big three-pointer to give Abington back the lead, and she hit a long two-pointer as well. You think they need to start forcing the ball to Gracie?
I think so. I mean, you got to feed it to the person that's, hot, doing well, Keep giving them it. And, if someone else starts to heat up, give it to them next,
Well, 13-12 your score at the end of one. We'll be back for second quarter action right after this. Getting ready to get back underway here. Quarter number 2, the Abington Green Wave, the Mashpee Falcons girls varsity basketball teams going at it. 13-12, Abington on top. Some sharp shooting at the end of the first quarter for Paris Wittes-Hendricks, who has it now. Takes it out to Cheyenne Hendricks. Sarah Devaney on the floor for the Green Wave. A three for Mary Klein is good. Three for Maya Peters off the back of the rim. Diane Hendricks. Hands off to Paris Wittes-Hendricks. A long two is good for Maggie Connolly. Both teams getting a big bucket to start the second quarter, Joe.
Yeah, definitely. I'm liking the ball movement, though. But as I say that, they turn over the ball.
A little bit too much mustard on that pass.
But you can definitely tell both teams are starting to adapt, get used to playing with the mask.
Short jumper is off the glass and in for Connolly. I was almost skeptical of that dribble, Joe, at the charity stripe. You just gotta put that one up the second you get it when you've got that kind of space. Took the dribble, moved a couple feet closer to the bucket. Turnaround jumper, no good for McGuire. Corner three, no good off the back of the rim. A rebound for Connolly for Mashpee. Peters stops, thought about the shot, gave it to Haley Garcia, who didn't know what to do with it, and handed it to the Abington Green Wave. Garcia with it now, one hands it up to Peters. Her layup almost didn't get north of the rim, but eventually fell in.
Barely rolled in there, but a lot of fast plays by both teams here.
To the top of the key, contact on the pass reception. Interesting method for a pass from Olivia McGuire, who let it roll down her leg, hit her foot, and find another member of the Green Wave. London's coming in, replacing Elizabeth Campbell. as you mentioned, Joe, I'm just really hearing it for the first time how heavy some of these girls players are breathing out there through the masks. And of course, if the masks have any moisture on them, it becomes that much harder to breathe.
Yeah, I can't imagine how it is playing a 40-minute game, you know, with the mask on.
Timeout called by Coach Chris Treska of the Mashpee Falcons. 5:08 to go in the second. Abington with a 2-point edge, 20-18.
Really neck and neck game.
Both teams have seemingly come out shooting here in the second quarter, with Mary Klein hitting that big three for Abington about 30 seconds in, and Mashpee answering with a very long two on the other end. Abington with 7 here through the first 3-ish minutes of the second quarter, and Mashpee putting up 9 in this quarter.
Yeah, it seems like both teams starting to find their rhythm.
Busy week, Joe, for the Green Wave Varsity girls basketball team. They're right back at it here tomorrow night. And then again on Friday, they host the Sachems of Middleborough High School. Very tough stretch of the season right off the rip.
Yeah.
The Green Wave.
3 games for first week.
Heard Mashpee's coach talking before the game about his first couple games of the season. Mashpee's not exactly around the corner, and their first 3 games of the season are here at Abington, at Randolph, and at Norwell.
Yeah, it's hard for a team to go on the road like that, driving all around.
Especially to start the year.
Yeah.
Especially to start this year of all years. Long 2, no good. Would have been good from beyond the arc. Roy has her shot blocked. Might have gotten her foot stomped on the way down. McConnell in for Roy. McGuire down low, not enough on it. Brought down by Paris Wittes-Hendricks. Hendricks goes behind the back. Now Connolly's 2 from about the charity stripe, no good. Roy to the corner. A 3, no good off the mark. Brundage able to keep it in very athletically.
Great hustle on that rebound.
Eventually turned over to the Mashpee Falcons. Contact down low, not called. Haley Garcia with the layup. Tie ball game halfway through the second. Until Abington's trying to force the ball into the paint, Joe, and I thought during the pregame that Abington might have had the size advantage. That is decidedly in Mashpee's favor, especially in the passing lanes.
Yeah, for sure.
On 2, 4-foot jumper, no good. The rebound putback is good. 22-20, Abington back with the lead. Shot blocked by Brundage. My Peters being covered by Elizabeth Roy. Is off to Willis Hendricks. Rolling out of bounds off of Mashpee. Hannah Murphy comes in, replacing Elizabeth Roy. Another turnover caused by Haley Garcia, who lays it up.
Yeah,
and
definitely need to put a little more heat on those passes. Sometimes they lob them up nice and high and easy to intercept for the team.
Haley Garcia having a very good evening. A lot of turnovers, Joe,
Yeah.
on both sides. O'Connell's three, in and out.
That was a good idea.
It looked good. The angle was directly in front of us.
Bounced right up.
Three on the other side is airballed out of play. Abington takes over. Sarah Flanagan into the game, replacing Isabella O'Connell. Brundage couldn't corral it. Now a jump ball called. You'd think with all the things they're trying to prevent, they would have blown that whistle just a little bit sooner.
Yeah, I'm surprised they, I don't know. It's interesting how they allow them to get really physical when they're going for the jump ball.
Out of play off of Abington. 1:36 left in a slow-going second quarter. Really has cooled off since that opening 2 minutes. 24-22 your score. Abington on top by a pair. Coming up with the turnover there. Forcing it up ahead to Gracie O'Connell. Foul called on Mary Klein. Push is the call. Into the paint for number 15, who is not listed on our roster. To the corner, hard in for Brundage. Turnaround layup, not enough on it. Tap back into Klein. O'Connell's three off the mark. Out of play, Mashpee takes over. Under a minute to go. 50 seconds in the first half. 24-22. Mashpee would love to end this half either with a tie or the lead.
Yeah, it seems like both teams are in a bit of a stalemate right now. Can't get much going.
Pump they way in, laying it up. Not enough on it. Good work by Hannah Terrell to grab that rebound. Gracie O'Connell hard into the paint, laying it high off the glass, Joe, and in. Mary Klein. 10 seconds to go. Long three. Rims out. The Green Wave lose it out of play with 4 seconds to go. It remains a Green Wave basketball. So after all that, the Abington Green Wave will take what seems to be a 4-point lead into the half. Very slow going in this first half. It's been a battle of turnovers and defensive excellence.
Absolutely. As you can hear from the coach, there's a lot of talks about whether or not that should have been a foul call or not. There's a lot of
No good.
contact
And
on.
Maya Peters went hard to the floor.
A lot of contact on that.
The buzzer sounds in explaining why there was no call on that. Either way, but we're at halftime. 26-22 your score. Slow going. Joe, what do both teams have to do to start the second half on fire?
Pass better, for sure. Put a little more heat on them. I feel like they're lobbing them up, and it's super easy to steal it when they just throw really high and it's a slow pass. If they just utilize like bounce passes or just really good chest passes, I feel like they'd be able to, minimize turnovers.
4-point edge at the Green Wave at the end of 2. We'll be back for third quarter action right after this. Hello and welcome back into the campus of Abington High School for second half action between the Mashpee Falcons and your Abington Green Wave. Once again, I'm Mad Dog Matt Nelson, joined alongside Joe Beaver. Joe, it's a 4-point lead for the Green Wave coming into half number 2. A lot of turnovers, as we alluded to at the end of the first half, and a lot of good defensive plays for both sides.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if they can keep up the defense and minimize the turnovers, either team really, then the game will be theirs.
And one point that you had made, both teams really, but especially the Green Wave, have to start putting some spice on the passes.
Yeah, definitely.
Lay a little bit of sriracha on there.
Yeah.
Holding called against Mashpee. Brundage to the corner for Gracie O'Connell. The way to tell Gracie apart from her twin Isabella, Gracie is wearing the bright pink shoes. Gracie with it now and loses it. Kind of tipped it out of her own hands when she was trying to get both hands on the ball for a pass. Brundage rips this one right out of the arms of Paris Wittes-Hendricks now to that corner, a little bit too much on it. Now Gracie takes a three off the front of the rim, no good. Up ahead for Maya Peters against Gracie O'Connell, lays it up and in. 26-24, Mashpee strikes first here in quarter number 3. Brundage looking for the good old sneak into the paint game. This three rims out. That was Isabella O'Connell. Long three for Peters. This one airballs. Brundage comes away with it. Isabella to Brundage, working her way in. Floats it up off the glass and in. Pass intercepted, and not sure what happened there, but the Falcon, I believe that is Amaya Peters, went down very hard in a collision. That was weird, Joe.
Yeah, that was.
All
I don't know where that came
was
from.
the two players running along the sideline in play.
I believe Greenway was looking down court, and he just happened to not see the player in front of her. But I'm not certain, because it seemed like kind of random.
As we repeatedly alluded to now, we get to hear a lot of the conversation going on. You folks watching live on Abington Cam's YouTube page might have heard that as well. Mashpee coach Chris Tresca actually asking the refs to call a foul on his team. He said with all that contact, knowing what we're under, you know, the overarching reason that there's no fans in attendance and the benches are set up the way they are, call something.
Yeah.
Was his message to the refs, whether it's defensive or offensive.
Yeah, there's been a lot of contact throughout this whole entire game. I'm surprised there's been more calls on that.
I don't necessarily disagree with his sentiment.
It's a weird complaint, though, definitely, to want a foul on your own team.
You know, one of the officials, one who called this foul, in fact. There's a new concept in the sports world that originated back in soccer season. We saw it a little bit. Hand whistles. They're essentially buttons that you have in your hand and you blow it, air quotes, and it makes a whistle sound. Instead of having to pull down your mask, blow a whistle, put the mask back on, put the whistle away, it's a device in your hand. And apparently this one, that the female referee to our left has a bunch of different sounds programmed into it.
That's pretty cool.
Before the game we heard like a doorbell, we heard a train whistle. Took her a few cycles to get to, quote, basketball whistle.
It's pretty interesting. It's definitely a new way to do things.
Brundage three, slightly off the mark. Well, this is now interesting, Joe, because in the last minute or so, there's been a lot more fouls called than previously in this game.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know if that's as a result of the coaches or I'm not sure.
Contact down low. Way up ahead for Isabella, has it knocked away by freshman Haley Garcia. Slow going here in the third. 28-26, Abington up by 2. Travel called in the paint. One Green Wave member was surrounded by 4 Falcons. Too much on it for Gracie O'Connell. Elizabeth Roy comes back in. She will replace Sarah Devaney. Of course, the big story, Joe, in Abington Green Wave basketball news, of course, on Saturday afternoon here at Abington High, Matt McGuire scored his 1,000th point in his high school career.
Yeah, I'm wicked happy for him. And there's always that thought in your mind that, you know, due to the pandemic, that it could get canceled. Like, the games all could just get canceled, and he wouldn't be able to hit the 1,000 points. So it's nice that he got to hit it early and reach that milestone.
The added bonus, well, the multiple added bonuses in that scenario. His parents were able to watch live on the link you folks are watching on now, youtube.com/AbingtonCam, C-A-M 02351/live. Bookmark that link while you get the quick moment. They were watching in the parking lot just in case he got close. Other parents on the team and the Abington High School administration and ultimately the central office agreed to make an exception to the no parents, no fans rule for that milestone. So Mr. and Mrs. McGuire could be in attendance to see their son hit that mark. Wasn't sure at halftime if he was going to hit it. He caught fire in the third quarter. He needed 29, which is a monster game in high school. And he finished with exactly 29 points on the afternoon, hitting that mark with about 4.5 to go in the fourth quarter in the blowout victory against East Bridgewater. Only the 6th member, Joe, of the Abington High School boys basketball team to hit 1,000 points in his career. And directly contributing to the recent run of success for the Green Wave basketball program. 2 state title appearances, 1 victory. And widely expected preseason ranked #1 by both the Globe and Herald.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive stuff.
Last year's co-state championship was the first title in Abington Green Wave basketball history. Timeout called, 2:47 to go in the third quarter. 30-28, Mashpee back on top. A very lackadaisical offensive effort, Joe, for both teams.
I like the word.
You gotta bust out those SAT words once in a while. Lackadaisical. Falcons, of course, a division rival under normal circumstances to the Abington Green Wave. Short jumper, no good. Mashpee comes down with the rebound. Whipped out by Hannah Terrell. Might have gotten an elbow up high. Isabella O'Connell. Hannah Terrell, of course, the sister of esteemed Abington Cam intern Derek Terrell. Isabella 1 of 2 at the line, 30-29 the score, 2.5 even left in quarter number 3.
Yeah, this game's been neck to neck the entire time.
Short 2, weird bounce off the rim. Didn't think it had enough to even get up to the top of the rim. And took a couple bounces off. Ultimately fell out. 3, short for Klein. Jump ball, and Mashpee takes over. Long 2 is good for Connolly. 32-29, a 3-point lead for Mashpee. Corner 3, in, out, and then in again.
Took a good bounce there.
Sarah DeVeni, the sophomore, tying the game.
Really big shot for the Green Wave.
Another jump ball. Abington will take over here with an opportunity to swing the lead in their favor. The ball movement for the Green Wave. The layup, however, no good. Amaya Peters comes away with it. Layup blocked by Klein. She gets it to DeVini. "17 turnovers in the last 20 seconds of game action, Joe. Evenly split between the two teams.
That was a good idea there, though, to do a give and go.
As we mentioned, Joe, a very busy week for the girls, both junior varsity and varsity teams here at Abington High School. Of course, today the JV and varsity teams going up against Mashpee High. Tomorrow night, we're right back at it. Girls varsity tips off at 5 against Notre Dame Academy, the Cougars coming from Hingham. JV tips off at 7. And then on Friday, it is the classic matchup of Abington versus the Sachems of Middleborough High School. Tough way to start the season. 3 games, including a back-to-back to start the week, Tuesday, Wednesday. Good layup there for Paris Wittes-Hendricks, the sophomore guard. Klein, a lot of contact. A charge is going to be called on Mary Klein. Shot clock off, 20 seconds to go in the third quarter. Maya Peters thinking shot. Instead hands off, one-handed into the paint, too much on it, allowing the Green Wave to recover. And a travel ultimately called. 7.2 on the clock here, Joe. Not out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah, it'd be ideal if Green Wave get a quick score here, be up at the end of the quarter.
3 seconds, 2 and 1. The layup, bad angle, no good. The buzzer sound. And unable to convert off of the travel call for the Abington Green Wave. 34-33. Mashpee with their lead, with a 1-point lead. Their first of the game at any of the breaks. As you mentioned, Joe, neck and neck the entire game.
Top one's good, coach. Yeah, top one's good, right?
Yeah, I still think if Green Wave wants to take this one, they really need to focus on sharp, clean passes.
Done a little bit better passing-wise in that third quarter, but still a lot of turnovers. I think it's more so that both defenses for Mashpee and Abington are doing an excellent job of clogging the passing lanes. It's not so much that, at least in that third quarter, that the passes didn't have enough on it. Just that people are in the way.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, both teams doing a great job of that.
I'd like to remind you that every single game here at Abington High School is viewable on the link you're on now. Freshman, JV, and varsity, all levels. Live as it's happening at youtube.com/AbingtonCam02351/live. Go ahead and bookmark that. Slap that subscribe button. Been listening to the sultry sounds of Joseph Beaver
It's
and Mad Dog Matt Nelson.
another really good word. I'm impressed.
It's almost testing season, as I like to refer to it. The block of Maya Peters lost it. Might have gotten tripped up. Long two, no good. Out of play off of Abington, another turnover.
Good attempt there to get the rebound.
A block from Brundage. Isabella to the corner for Gracie O'Connell. Her three is good. Abington regains the lead, 36-34.
Green Wave did a really good job there of spreading the floor, making sure that everybody can, get open.
All right, Peters trying to find a lane, fouled, I believe, by Brundage. They're going to tag Olivia McGuire for that one. Devaney coming out of the game. Sarah Flanagan comes in. All right, Peters, three from the top of the key. Couple clanks off the rim, no good, and the refs say that Brundage carried that out of play, but she never had possession of it. for Garcia. Going for Willis Hendricks. Travel. Another emphatic call by the official on the far side. Saying no shot, no shot. That's a travel. Another turnover. Getting in the way that time was Paris Willis Hendricks. Loose ball, reverse layup, no good. Garcia comes down with the offensive board, and yet another, and a third. I don't know if these are counting as shots because they've slowly but surely moved away from the basket. Three for Gracie O'Connell is good.
That was a really clutch shot.
Giving the Green Wave the first multi-possession lead in quite some time. 39-34, 5-point lead. Long two for my Peters, no good. Brundage with the rebound.
I believe this might be the biggest lead of the game.
Green Wave starting to clean it up a little bit. Here's Gracie. Down low, laying it up and in. He is number 14, Olivia McGuire. Mashpee calls a timeout. Down 7, 41-34, Joe. Green Wave starting to heat up just a little bit.
Yeah, that was a nice, I believe it was an 8-point run. So, really starting to get the momentum going.
Currently on that 8-0 run are the Green Wave. 5:46 to go in the fourth. Right back at it tomorrow night against the Notre Dame Academy Cougars. Falcons trying to drop a strategy that would keep them close, Joe, because the way that this game is gone, if Abington goes up a little bit more, I mean, Abington's only scored, what, 9 points in the second half? 10 points in the second half?
Yeah, I think so.
It's been a very low-scoring game, comparatively speaking. Paris Hendricks hands off to Amaya Peters. Now Garcia turns it over. Isabella called for the double dribble. Tipped out. Another near turnover. Garcia to Connolly, to Willis Hendricks. Three, no good. Garcia coming down with a one-handed rebound. He's off to Connolly. Now Willis Hendricks. Two is blocked. He's still loose. Brundage on the floor. Jump ball is called. Mashpee retains. Good defensive sequence there, Joe. A lot of time coming off the clock with no points put on for Mashpee.
I mean, if Green Wave just runs out this clock, then they get the win.
Forcing it over to Garcia. No. Cheyenne Hendricks. Her shot no good. Brundage comes away with the rebound. And the Green Wave indeed do slow things up. Brundage looking for Isabella O'Connell. Shot no good. Willis Hendricks finds a lane. Her layup is good.
Really good footwork on that layup.
That stops the 8-0 run that Abington was on. 41-36, just about halfway through the fourth quarter. Loose ball, and I don't know why you would try to tap that ahead when you've only got one Falcon in that direction. Jump ball called. Abington will take possession.
I believe that was 6 or 7 turnovers in a row.
Wild sequences we've seen
Yeah.
tonight.
Ball's been everywhere.
Cannot wait to see the huddle breakdown of this one. Of course, this production a result of partnership between Abington Cam and the Abington Green Wave Boosters. The camera you're seeing is fully automated, mounted about 30-35 feet above the court. In every game it breaks down and gives all of the coaches stats. Turnover percentage, shooting efficiency, all of the relevant analytical buzzer beater layup is good. The shot clock buzzer, that is. 2, airball. Brundage comes away with it. O'Connell from the corner, no good. Brundage flying in for the rebound. Here's the debate of the night, Joe. If you put up a 3 and it does not hit the rim and does not go in, or the backboard, is it still a shot or is it a pass?
I mean,
Like in that exact situation,
yeah.
Gracie O'Connell shot it from the corner,
Well,
doesn't contact anybody or anything, and Brundage comes away with it.
Well, I know Draymond Green airballed, and when Steph Curry dropped 62, you know, one of the shots that he made was an airball by Draymond. He got the layup and scored, and they gave Draymond the assist. So if we're going by NBA rules, then technically it's a pass.
Pass. Interesting.
Yeah.
It's the equivalent of a hockey shot that doesn't hit anywhere on the net and the goalie doesn't make a save. It's not a shot.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Wait, is that actually how it works?
That is actually how it works. And to go one step further, a shot that hits one of the posts of the crossbar is also not a shot on net.
Really? That's interesting.
According to Gary Bettman's NHL rules,
What if it hits the crossbar?
does not count as a shot on net.
That's interesting. I did not know that.
The 2 rules in the NHL, before we bring it back to basketball, that I can't stand are that one. Shots that hit the posts or crossbar are not shots on net. And shootout winners do not count for overall goal totals.
I could understand that, though. I mean, it's kind of...
It's a game-winning goal. How does it not reflect in anyone's stats?
I mean, but it's not like... I mean, I guess you got a point. I don't know. It's interesting to think about. I mean, because it's not like a in-game, but it is, though. So...
And it still affects the outcome of the game.
True.
If you miss that shot, the goalie's credited with a save. You're not credited with a shot.
Oh, well, if he's credited in a save, then it should be counted as a shot. Then.
But if it goes in, he's not credited with a goal against. Unless it's the game winner.
That's interesting. I think if it counts as a save for the goalie, then it should count as a goal for the shooter, I think. But if it didn't count as a save for the goalie, then it shouldn't count for anybody.
Back to basketball. Half of the NBA games for this week have been canceled.
Sadly.
This goes to show no matter what level you're at, things can change like that. Of course, we just saw, back to high school basketball, we just saw Whitman Hanson go to full remote, cancel all their sports for at least the next 2 weeks. They're not alone in southeastern Massachusetts in making that decision. growing belief that there might be a statewide shutdown coming.
So would that mean restaurants and gyms, or just schools and like?
Well, ultimately, I think what it would be is a full week. The whole state goes back to phase 2, step 2.
Okay.
Not to cause any panic, but to the 100 or so folks viewing this, that would entail the closing of personal services establishments, including hair salons and barbershops.
So you better get your haircuts now, is what I'm hearing.
Get your haircuts 2 days from now after I have had the opportunity. Because that really was, going back to March,
Yeah.
that was the thing. It was, nobody's cutting hair, nobody's shaving beards. A travel call here against Abington. Minute 10 left to go in the fourth.
Seems like this game will go in favor of Abington.
45-36, it's a 9-point edge for the Green Wave. Under a minute to go now, 55 seconds. Maya Peters has gone down hard once again. A little bit slower to get up this time. I don't know I would have gotten up from the first one that she took along the sideline.
Yeah.
Maya Peters is at the free throw line. Mashpee now in a 1-on-1 bonus shooting situation. Hit on her first attempt, her in the second. Chance to bring the Falcons within 7. We'll go on her second attempt. The Green Wave have the rebound. It's Brundage once again. Having a monster night on the boards, but called for the travel there. Just an extra step. By Peters to inbound. A lot of contact, Joe, this game that has not been called. Has been consistent for both sides. Credit to the officials. Hannah Terrell, ultimately, I think that would have been a 2. A layup is good. That was McGuire. 13.4 left, Joe. A 10-point lead for Abington, and the Green Wave are going to be the victors here tonight.
Yeah. It's a good game from both teams, though.
Green Wave have it tripping is Isabella O'Connell, going down kind of hard. 6 seconds on the clock, a turnover, and Brundage has it. The buzzer sounds, and this one has come to an end. 47-37, your final score. The Abington Green Wave, the victors over the Mashpee Falcons. Joe, slow going offensively, a lot of turnovers, a lot of great defensive play, a lot to build on for both teams.
Absolutely, yeah. I think if I was the coach, I definitely work on the passing. The defense was phenomenal. And just shot selection, too, because sometimes they'd pull some sort of contested shots, or they'd be double-teamed. They might have an open man or in the corner or, underneath.
Player of the game, Joe, for both teams. I did have a little bit of hesitation picking Mashpee's, but I think I got to give it to Amaya Peters. The sophomore guard, throwing the body around, hitting a number of big shots for the Falcons to keep them in this game right up until the Green Wave started to pull away there in the fourth quarter. Haley Garcia had a big game as well. Paris Wittes-Hendricks for the Falcons. Maggie Connolly all having good performances for the Falcons, but ultimately I think Maya Peters earns it. Do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, she had really good ball handling, and she was making some great plays for her team.
Meanwhile, for the Green Wave, personally, I don't think there's any competition here. I think it's Gracie O'Connell.
Yeah, definitely.
Number of big threes, especially from the corner late in this game, to ultimately put the Green Wave ahead and keep them ahead, 47-37. Again, your final score. Do you agree with that selection?
Yeah, and she was very good on the getting offensive boards, defensive boards, playing really good defense.
Abington starts off this tough stretch with a victory. They're back at it tomorrow night against Notre Dame Academy. We'll have it for you on Abington Community Access and Media. 47-37, your final score. The Abington Green Wave victorious against the Mashpee Falcons by 10. I want to thank you for watching this broadcast of Abington Community Access and Media. For my broadcast partner, Joe Beaver, I'm Mad Dog Matt Nelson. We will see you next game.